Hi everybody and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. For today's video, I've also got two stories for you and both of them have updates, so let's get started with the first one. This post is from the subreddit Relationships and it's by user Throwaray Broken Woman. I, 37 female, want to divorce my husband, 40 male, but everyone keeps telling me I will die alone if I do so. What is the best course of action? I, 37 female, caught my husband, 40 male, cheating on me with my daughter's teacher. We have 3 kids, 12 male, 9 female, and 4 female. We have been married for 15 years and together for 20 years. But recently, I found out he has been cheating. I reported to the teacher and separated from my husband. I served him divorce papers because cheating has always been a deal breaker for me. My husband has begged a lot, but I still haven't budged. It's been 1.5 months since I served him a divorce. I have had people try to convince me to stay. I've heard a lot of advice, but the most common were: 1. All men cheat. Suppose I leave my husband and find a new man. The chances that he will cheat on me are still high. Better to stay with my husband. 2. I will be a single mom. A single mom with 3 kids has a difficult time finding a new partner. We have baggage. Besides, I am 37. 3. I should just let him cheat because at the end of the day, he still provides and pays the bills. 4. Think about your kids and how it will affect them. Divorce is always harsh on kids. And 5. I am taking their father away from them. All these I avoided, but what struck me was what my mother said. My mom also divorced my dad when he cheated. Our dad abandoned us after the divorce was final, and I barely talked to him. My mother said sometimes she wishes she didn't divorce my dad. He left us because he was angry that my mom didn't want to work things out. If she had just worked things out, I would still have a dad. Part of the reason she was still single till I was 18 was because she didn't want strange men to groom me and to take advantage of me. She said to think about it. I have thought about this for a long time. I cannot even look at him. His face disgusts me. The last time he touched my arm, I pulled away fast. I am fine if I never date again, but I've always had abandonment issues. I think about my children, and it makes me want to change my mind. But how can I stay with a man who disgusts me? We would be living like roommates. I need some insights on what the right thing to do for my kids and me is. OP, first of all, I'm sorry your future ex is cheating scum just like your dad. And about your dad, his abandoning you wasn't your mom's fault, it was his stupid decision. I think you're making the right decision for your children and yourself. Divorce is the right thing to do. Now, regarding those 5 reasons the people around you gave you and what your mom said, I don't agree with any of that. Personally, I don't like those corporate team side generalizations. They're so lazy. They remove all accountability from individuals and their decisions. Not all men cheat. Not all men are predators that groom teens. And no, getting a divorce at 37 doesn't mean you'll die alone or you'll hurt your children. That'll happen if your ex is as much a crappy father as he is a husband. Unfortunately, your mom got both in one. But again, that is not all men. If I was in your shoes, I would continue with the divorce and see if it's possible for your ex to be a good co-parent. Who knows, maybe he's not a complete piece of trash, he's just half a bag. And what do you guys think OP should do? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's move on to the community comments to see what they said. I see Perception 8108 says, your husband cheated with the teacher of your kids. He cares a crap about your kids. How many people at the school, including other parents, know now? The fact that he did that to your kids and has embarrassed them in such a way, even though they might not know personally, is telling enough. You don't crap where you eat or your kids eat. Your husband just did. Divorce him. Jimmy B 1982 says, stay the course and divorce. Not all men cheat, and plenty of single moms marry again. Think about the message your kids get if you stay with a cheater and you didn't take their father away from them. He did that on his own. What happened to the teacher? If she's married, I would definitely reach out to her husband. And OP responds, she was engaged according to her social media. She was fired from her job because dating parents is strictly against school policy. And plus, she was having an affair with a married man, so parents were concerned. And Chingness says, what sort of people are you hanging around with? Geez, being in a happy relationship is great, but being in a bad one is far, far, far worse than being single. So you stay. What's to stop him cheating and leaving? What message did this show your kids? Why wouldn't you die alone if you stay married? Most couples don't die on the same day. Honestly, this idea you need to be in a romantic relationship to be happy is garbage. Focus on yourself, your needs, your hobbies, and your friendships, although sounds like you need better ones. Don't waste any more time with a man who would break his vows and treat you like this. The consequences, like taking their father from the kids, are on him, not you. He can be in their lives and not in your bed. Most kids deal with divorce. They'll cope. Most adults whose parents stay together for the kids will tell you it's far worse. The best parent is a happy parent. Additional information from OP's comments. I know my dad chose to abandon me. I had this hunch for years that he abandoned me to punish my mother. My mother practically begged him to meet me, but he always had excuses. Honestly, I was very little when they divorced. My dad was loving and caring until my mom kicked him out. I don't blame my mom, but I wonder if that's what caused him to never contact me. He moved out of town with his mistress. Dating is the least of my concerns now. Yes, I know I will feel alone, but I am more worried about my kids. My relatives, his parents and relatives, we are from a conservative community. Divorce is still looked down on here. And even if I did try to work it out, I would still have doubts whenever he goes out. His infidelity will always be on the back of my mind. I will always have panic attacks whenever he comes late. I don't know if I will be able to deal with this for the rest of my life. I will always remember what he did. And about the affair, it lasted 7 months, but I think it started a year ago. I found out he was cheating because I found a pink scrunchie in his car. I don't use scrunchies to tie my hair, and the hair on that scrunchie was blonde. No one in his family is blonde. They are all brunettes. His close friends are not blonde, so I did some digging and found messages between them. Alright, well, the community agrees that OP should stay the course, that divorce is the best way to go in this case, because staying together for the kids is never a good option. It ends up hurting the kids more. And we also got some more context regarding how the affair happened and how OP found out. So now it's time that we move on to the update to see how the story ends. Hello everyone, I just wanted to give you a quick update. Recently, I had my LASIK operation done on my eyes, so I wasn't available to answer all the PMs and comments. I wasn't allowed screen time for 48 to 72 hours. But thanks to all of you for opening my eyes, I was having some doubts. In my mind, I was doing the right thing, but people were telling me I should reconsider. So it created a doubt whether I was doing the right thing or not. But the comments from people have cleared it. So where are we? That's the discussion I had with my soon-to-be ex. My soon-to-be ex came to see me during my operation. I never asked him, but he still came. He took me home after my operation. Since I wasn't allowed to put pressure or dust in my eyes, it made the majority of the chores very difficult to do. However, he did all my chores, starting from dusting, cooking, and laundry. He was with me, reminding me to take my eye drops. It felt good. For once, I thought I had gotten my husband back, but I thought about this a lot. He never did anything like this unless I asked him to. He never did my portion of the chores even when I was sick with the flu. He is only doing this to be on my good side. I don't want someone who only acts nice to gain something. Plus, the messages he shared with his affair partner still haunt me. It's been imprinted in my brain. I don't think doing 2 days worth of chores will make me forget the humiliation my kids and I went through because of him. So I sat him down. It was easier to talk to him wearing glasses. I told him I was still going through with the divorce. I am not going to take his kids away from him. He is still their dad, but I can never live under the same roof as him again. Even if I took his advice and went to counseling together, I would still never be able to let go of the fact that he cheated. Our kids don't deserve parents who resent each other. We should part ways and continue as co-parents. I did suggest counseling as a family so that we can be the best co-parents. But as far as being married is concerned, that's out of the question. He can resent me in any way he wants, but he still has to be there for the kids. He agreed. However, I can see the sadness in his eyes. He said sorry for everything that he had done. He opened up about his affair, that he just thought it would be great. He says we got so stuck in our mundane lives that the affair was an escape, but he didn't realize what he was losing. He blocked his affair partner and ended his relationship with her. He acknowledges that not only did he destroy his marriage, but she also ruined her career. I think this wouldn't have gotten this far if it wasn't a teacher. I don't know what they were thinking. The news of my husband's affair spread like wildfire. I mean, other parents came to know and they complained about this teacher because they were also afraid their husbands were involved. One of the reasons the teacher got fired was the backlash. The teacher taught my daughter. My son's peers also had siblings taught by the same teacher, so they also learned about the affair. It was a whole lot of drama. Because of this whole thing, our kids lost all respect for him. That's another problem. My oldest son knows what's happening. Apparently, the rumors have reached his class. As I mentioned, the teacher taught my middle child, so she also knows. My son is not talking to his dad. He even refused to eat the meals he cooked and has been living on a peanut butter and jelly sandwich diet. My other kids followed his lead. He refuses to talk to my soon-to-be ex and it hurts him. I even caught him crying 1 or 2 times. I can understand what my kids are going through, but I don't want them to hate their dad. He is a crappy husband, but a great dad. I don't know what to do with him. I don't want them to hate him. I don't want them growing up thinking love is a bad thing. I want them to be better than both of us. I never wanted them to get hurt. I wish I could shield them from this information. My soon-to-be ex-husband also said he would never date again. I told him not to make promises he knows he cannot keep. I think I need therapy too. For years I blamed myself when my dad left. Maybe it's a mechanism. So, to summarize, I'm going through with a divorce. We are only getting counseling to work as co-parents. Thanks for all the help and support. Well, Opie, of course it's not a happy update because everybody's hurting, particularly you and the kids. But the good thing is that you guys have a plan. He's not going to give you any grief, apparently. Hopefully he just doesn't turn himself into a victim. But the thing is that you got a plan to be there for your kids and help them get through this. So on that note, here's wishing you the best in the future, Opie. Thank you for sharing and take care. Now, let's move on to the next post that also has an update. This post is from the subreddit Am I the A-hole and it's by user SafeCriticism8500. Would I be the a-hole if I play the song that my mom chose for her funeral, knowing it might offend some attendees? My mom recently passed away, and our family, primarily me, are making the arrangements for the upcoming funeral. My mom always had a really excellent sense of humor, and before she passed, she told not only me, but all of the palliative care staff at the hospital that the song she wanted to be played at her funeral was Ding Dong the Witch is Dead from The Wizard of Oz. I managed to at least talk her out of the soundtrack version sung by the Munchkins and got her to agree to the classier jazz version sung by Ella Fitzgerald. Now, I agree with my mom that this would be a really funny thing to play at a funeral and would showcase her sense of humor to a T. However, I'm also very aware that not everyone that's going to come to the funeral is going to take the joke in the same spirit. And I think that some of the more religious friends and family members might be extra upset because there's a certain repeated line that implies she's going to hell. Plus, we're explicitly having a non-religious service, and one of said family members has already expressed disappointment with that. So, on the one hand, I think it's my mom's funeral and I should respect her wishes above anyone else's opinions. On the other hand, I realize that funerals are for the living and it's pretty disrespectful to do something that's going to upset those actually in attendance when, obviously, my mom isn't going to know one way or the other. Would I be the a-hole? Should I still play the song my mom picked? If it matters, my alternate choice would be Landslide by Fleetwood Mac, which was her favorite song and what we all listened to in the hospital together after she passed. Well, Opie, first of all, I'm so sorry for your loss. Second of all, no, I don't think you would be the a-hole. It's your mom's funeral, she picked the song, just let her have this last thing, even though she won't know one way or the other. Now, you mentioned that your mom always had an excellent sense of humor. Considering what she was going through in her final days, this is the way she wanted to go out, and if somebody's offended by that, well, they just need to get over it, because let's face it, your mom's not gonna care. And I know it's not the same thing, but your post reminded me of this video that I'll just show you guys a clip of it.
Hello? Hello? Let me out! Where the fuck are we? Hello? Hello? Let me get the fucking bag in here.
And what I take from that is that a funeral doesn't always have to be a sad moment. It can be about celebrating the person's life, and that comes with their sense of humor. So no, OP, I don't think you would be the a-hole if you played the song that your mom wanted to be played. And what is your judgment? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's move on to the community comments to see what they said. Substantial Quit 2653 says, not the a-hole. Your mom was deliberate in her choices. Your religious relatives can have religious funerals when it's their time. They don't get to choose for other people. I haven't heard Ella Fitzgerald's version of the song your mom chose, but personally, I think the Munchkin version would be hysterical. Your mom knew who she was. You're celebrating who she was. What's most important is, if you don't honor your mom's wishes, how will you feel about this years later down the road? Because those religious relatives won't think about this again, but you will. Cordelia 1955 says, anyone who really knew your mother would love it. It would be a wonderful way to honor her memory. Make an announcement before playing it, something like, Mom specifically requested this to be played. Please do not take it was disrespectful or that it implies she's going to hell. The line is she's gone to where the goblins go, below. We see this as simply below the ground, not hell. I looked up the lyrics to be sure, there's no mention of hell. Then if she was really against a religious type of funeral, you could play Going Home, a version of Dvorak's Fifth Symphony, which is just gorgeous and can be heard either way. Quote, so on the one hand, I think it's my mom's funeral, and I should respect her wishes above anyone else's opinions. End quote. This is right, and you should go with that. Funerals are for the living, but her surviving children and spouse are most important. My condolences for your loss. Botswa says, why not put it in the program? There's usually a little folder paper thing with info in it for mourners. You can also have the person who is leading the funeral to say something like, and at the request of your mom's name, here's a song she chose to say goodbye with. I'm so sorry for your loss, and I hope you find a way to honor your mom and the haters can stuff it. And OP responds, that's a really good idea. I haven't started drafting the program yet, so I didn't think of that, but it would at least make it explicit that it's what my mom requested and not just me trying to be funny or whatever. Thanks. Additional information from OP's comments. You're all right. If they loved her for her, then they should really know this is her exact type of humor and something she'd ask for. It could be upsetting, but it could also make people laugh because it is just so her not to take even her death that seriously. My best friend's family actually played Always Look on the Bright Side of Life at her dad's funeral. I personally thought it was an excellent choice. Alright, well, the community agrees that OP wouldn't be the a-hole and they encouraged her to do as her mom wished, and apparently that's what OP's gonna do. So let's move on to the update to see how the story ends. Hi everyone, I'm back to share how my mom's memorial service went. I want to express my deep gratitude to everyone who convinced me that playing the song she chose was the right option. Your support and understanding meant a lot to me. So, I went ahead and played the Ella Fitzgerald version of Ding Dong the Witch is Dead after incorporating the story behind it into my eulogy, which a few people suggested it was the best way to bridge the gap between a serious occasion and a silly song. We poured a toast for everyone first, and I told them that we would raise a glass during the song and then introduced it like this. I'm sure you all know my mother had a wicked sense of humor, and if you know where I'm going with this, you know why I said it that way. For as long as I can remember, she told me and everybody else that she wanted a certain song played at her funeral because she wanted everyone to laugh, not cry, and because she knew she wouldn't have to deal with it if anybody didn't get the joke. But I think you'll all get it, and despite the circumstances, I hope this will be another happy memory that we can all associate with my mom. And then I played the song, and people immediately started smiling and chuckling when they caught on to what it was. The couple of people I worried about not finding it funny seemed to take it well enough. They weren't giggling like everyone else, but I think they were accepting of the song being what my mom wanted. And afterward, a few people told me that the song was perfect and that they could totally see my mom requesting that. All in all, it was a very nice celebration of life, and I'm happy with the way things turned out. Well, OP, you said it. It's a celebration of life. So yeah, you've made the right decision. Thank you so much for sharing, OP, and take care. And that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch it. Now, if you've gotten to this point in the video, I assume that you like these stories that I'm reading out, so here are a couple more that you might enjoy. And if you don't have any time to watch another story right now, save it for later, and also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.